And welcome to the fourth installment of BattleMech Showcase, where we're going to be taking a look at one of the enemy mechs we've been running into, known as the Wolverine. WVR-6R. Manufacturer, Callan Industries, Diplast BattleMechs, Gibson Federated BattleMechs, and Victory Industries. Production year of 2575, so it's an older Star League era BattleMech. It is a 55-ton medium BattleMech. Chassis is a Crucius A-A, armor is Maximilian 60, engine is a Cortec 275, communication system is a Garrett T11-B, targeting tracking system is a Sync Tracker 39-42071, and its maximum speed is 86 kilometers per hour. It sports Northrop 12,000 jump jets. Wolverine was developed as a fast strike battle mech, one which could take part in missions requiring speed and firepower, but too hazardous for lighter recon mechs. Although meeting all the requirements for just such a machine, the Wolverine has since become known for its versatility and is considered a jack of all trades throughout the inner sphere. With the same electronics package as the Phoenix Hawk and mobility that allows it to keep up with most medium mechs, the Wolverine is often used for command purposes when working with medium units, in spite of the terrible visibility and cramped cockpit due to the placement of the head-mounted weaponry. During this pre-Star League era, the early history of the Wolverine was born as a direct result of the Federated Sun's need for a frontline unit that could keep up with forward advance and outmaneuver enemy battle mechs. At the time, while they fielded their own versions of the Mackie and Battle Axe, they were too massive, slow, and lacked maneuverability. When the Terran Hegemony debuted their Shadowhawk and Griffin, the Davians suddenly had their answer in which they could model a design that fit the requirements for an ideal cavalry mech. Fierce competition followed suit by companies within Richards Varney's Capellan March with Norse BattleMech Works, ultimately winning a contract with the AFFS. The designers, led by supervising engineer Russell Bell, while using the aforementioned inspirations, opted for maneuverability, followed by a balanced weapons loadout with both offensive reach and close-in firepower without taxing heat exchange systems. Initially, this was accomplished with the inclusion of a prototype autocannon and medium-class laser, but Norse BattleMech Works felt this made the design too lightly armed compared to the competitors it was influenced by. The design team then made arrangements to allow the initial prototype to mount a PPC and additional heat sinks in place of the autocannon, but the first PPC they were able to secure was completely unsuitable for the test frame, due to significant overheating and EM interference, making for a wholly inaccurate weapon. This initial failure did not go unnoticed by the AFFS High Command, and they urged the company to stick with the initial proposed design, instead of rushing to create and test alternative weapon loadouts. The Norse engineers opted instead to stick with the original prototype for the Wolverine, while electing for heavier levels of armor protection. Most of the armor was focused on the legs and arms, while extra plating was specially placed around the main joints to protect from shrapnel and debris. The end result was a mech that was more stable, cooler running, and could endure severe punishment while out-jumping Shadowhawks and Griffins. Prince Varney himself would receive the very first 4 production-grade WVR-1R Wolverines in 2471. It would go on to become the standard AFS battle mech for centuries, ironically serving as a template for the Hegemony's upgrades of the mechs it was based on to, in turn, match the Wolverine. Counter this, Norse BattleMechs introduced yet another more influential variant in 2490, known as the WVR-3R, and would not be fully upgraded to modern standards for another 85 years. Purchasing the primary production rights to the design from Norse, Callan Industries introduced the definitive WVR-6R Wolverine in 2575 for the newly formed Star League Defense Force, in the lead up to the Reunification War, where it served with distinction. Afterwards, it was approved for use by the great houses and became quite common on the battlefields of the Succession Wars after the fall of the Star League. Besides being produced by Callan's factories on Nanking and Thermopolis, Free World's Defense Industries and Victory Industries later acquired the right to build Wolverines from their plants on Gibson and Marduk respectively. The Free Worlds League was thus the largest user of Wolverines, followed thereafter by the Federated Sun turned Federated Commonwealth. The Fourth Succession War brought about minor changes when the House Davian captured Nanking from the Capellan Confederation, but lost Marduk to the Draconis Combine. In the end, the exchange was a net gain for the Federated Sons, thanks to the larger Nanking factory, with the Confederation the clear loser. House Davion, Merrick, and Kurita all introduced new variants of the Wolverine, which exploited the recent recovery of lost tech just prior to the clan invasion. During the Combine Ghost Bear War, House Kurita found itself running short of equipment when they lost Marduk and Al Nair to Duke James Sandoval's surprise attack, although DCMS forces managed to recapture Marduk in mid-3064. Inspired by Vicor Industries' Project Phoenix initiative, Victory Industries went about scouring the entire Combine for any old Wolverine chassis in order to perform a complete strip, disassembling those in the worst shape for their parts, and apply a modernizing factory refit to the rest. By 3067, this effort had virtually picked the Draconis Combine clean of older Wolverine machines, but the new WVR-8K was so well received it inspired the production of brand new models. The Federated Sons was similarly inspired by the success of the WVR-8K to perform their own updates on the aging design, although the League themselves, still prolific Wolverine users, had yet to institute what turned out in the end to be a long and costly program. The Wolverine carries a weapons payload that is both versatile and at the same time limited by its ammunition dependencies. The primary weapon on board is a GM Whirlwind Autocannon 5. This weapon, mounted in the right arm along with 1 ton of ammunition, allows the Wolverine to cause damage to the enemy at respectable ranges. This is backed up for short-range work by a Harpoon 6 SRM-6 launcher with 1 ton of reloads in the left torso and a single Magnum Mark II medium laser mounted in the head. The laser is the most unique aspect of the Wolverine and is mounted in a ball turret, originally providing a 360-degree field of fire on early models of the Wolverine. Following the addition of the Harpoon launcher and Tech Battlecom electronics blister, a fire interrupt circuit had to be added to prevent pilots from shooting their own mechs. 5 Northrop 120,000 jump jets with 2 in either leg and a 5th in the rear torso improves upon the Wolverine's relatively fast cruising speed of 54 kilometers per hour by allowing it to jump up to 150 meters at a time. Unfortunately, the jets are slightly underpowered for this role and must be operated near maximum thrust to achieve their potential, resulting in increased wear and tear on the components. For this reason, a number of variants were introduced which simply removed the jump jets altogether. 9.5 tons of armor make the Wolverine well protected and emphasize its survivability while undertaking dangerous reconnaissance missions. 12 heat sinks also provide adequate heat dissipation even in the event of damage to the fusion engine, further emphasizing the durability of the machine. In its role as a command mech, the Wolverine is well equipped with the same Tech Battlecom system with multi-channel transceiver and receiver as found on the Phoenix Hawk. Well shielded in the head blister, this setup allows the Wolverine to provide superior electronic support when leading other mechs or conducting reconnaissance on its own. And indeed, the Wolverine has many variants to it. And this mech is one of the oldest serving mechs, not just in the world setting, but in the tabletop itself. This mech goes back a long way and is one of my personal favorites due to its durability and versatility. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.